What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you the first World Tanks commentary for the new year, the first recording I am doing in 2016. It is a viewer-submitted replay from Crazy JC, part of the Wawa clan at the time this replay was made, which is 9.6. Now, it is going to be a standard battle on Ensk. Yes, it is an older map, already going over my own words. A great way to start off the new year. More of the same, I suppose. But, a very familiar map, and some would consider a small and outdated map. I am not particularly a huge fan of this map. It is important to note some of the information he gave me prior to starting this match. He is going for medium tank mission number 15, and he's trying to kill 4 tank destroyers, and he says things don't exactly work out that way. Although the enemy team does have 4 tank destroyers, tank destroyer advantage going to them, medium tank advantage going to his team, and also a bit of an interesting dynamic in the fact that there are 6 tier 9s per team. However, 2 of Crazy JC's are going to be artillery, one of them already dying, so that's obviously a great start. And the arty for the enemy team is going to be a tier 10. The GW E100 in artillery I should be more familiar with, seeing as I own it, I've driven it. But ever since the arty nerfs, if you could call them that, they basically just made arty more lol so random. And I don't get a lot of enjoyment from inconsistent gameplay. So, I don't really play arty anymore. But, going back to this match, his team is quickly losing in terms of hit points, tank advantage, more or less the same. His team having killed the tier 9 Waffenträger and losing a T110, a T54E1 to a T110E5. So no significant losses for either team at this point in time, but it's kind of going the way this map usually goes. TDs and heavy tanks go to the city, and then you get some random stuff out in the field, sometimes kind of. I mean, a mouse went to the city, to the fields, sorry, very big difference. And that's kind of unexpected, but as you can see, JC either doesn't acknowledge it or isn't concerned about it. Does get some good shots off right there. Second one not exactly going where he wants, but he won't get a shot into the underplate. And will he be able to kill it? He wants to. Will his last shell find its mark? It does not. It hits the tank, but for a bounce. And as I was saying earlier in this match, it is the first recording of 2016. That does obviously not mean it will be the first video of 2015. In fact, it's probably going to be, 2016. I'm probably going to make that mistake a lot in the first month here or so, and throughout the course of January, and maybe a little bit into February, who knows. But it will probably be the third replay uploaded to my channel in the 2016 calendar, and that's just the way my recordings go. I'm thinking about maybe changing it up, but due to the nature of how I do my recordings, I'm always one replay ahead of what is uploaded to my channel, and so yeah, just the nature of my method. Right now, his team is quickly losing to a capture, as well as in terms of hit points. Tank count does favor them, however. Will it be enough to make it save the day? Well, he's certainly trying to. Leopard PTA driving, presenting a very tempting broadside target. The 121 completely exposing way too much of his side, and he will get killed for it. His team now losing the tank advantage, so they are losing in every conceivable way, and he's got to make something happen here, but he's reloading, so he's just running, still full hit points, which is a good thing for sure. It might come in handy here shortly, depending on how close this match gets with him having to... comes down to the fact where he can't take a shot and he can't blitz base. Although the enemy team getting greedy here, will that lose them the match? We'll see very shortly. They decide to go in for the kills and quickly losing the advantage they thought they had. This mouse is out in the open, more or less. Yeah, he's got that building there, but he's not running to it. He really should be trying to hug that building to his right, provide a little bit more cover, but he's just standing there out in the open. He will get hit from all sides. Sounded like that Yogzilla's got a shot on him, and he will die to the kill shot of Crazy JC. So that mouse playing very unintelligently, and his team pulling ahead in terms of, well, they did for a moment there, but they lost it quickly yet again. So they're both back behind in hit points and in tank count. However, they do have the Yogzilla and JC here, who has proven himself to be a good player time and time again. He's very reliable, and that Yogzilla getting off a very hefty shot that evens up the hit point pool very effectively. So JC's got to take care of 3 tank destroyers, 3 tier 10 tank destroyers, all of which are very good. The E3, very famous for its armor. The E4, famous for being more of a heavy tank brawler and all-around good tank destroyer. I love that vehicle. Even after they've nerfed it into oblivion, it is still one of my favorite tanks. If you never played it when it first came out, boy, let me tell you. And the Waffenträger, while a glass cannon, can put out an immense amount of damage in a short period of time. The Leopard PTA, not really a huge factor. The T-54E1, definitely something to be concerned about, just because he can do about 1,600 hit points of damage in a very short period of time. He knows that E4 fire, he knows he can kill that E4, and he wants to kill it. Probably going to go for the E3 if the opportunity presents itself, but no, going for the more opportune target of this E4, which he should be able to eliminate. Did light it on fire, but it's fire extinguisher, automatic fire extinguisher, because most people who run tier 10s run automatic. Even people who don't run tier 10s oftentimes run automatic because they don't want to rely on their ability to spot their tank is burning alive. And I will say, in the old version of World of Tanks, that made a lot of sense because it wasn't really the first thing that you noticed. Usually if you caught on fire, your tank would say, your crew would be like, oh, they broke our tracks, they busted our engine, our gun's been knocked out, and then they'd be like, oh, by the way, we're on fire. But in recent patches, they have made it to where, actually it's not even all that recent, I believe it was even during this time in 9.6, I can't recall the exact patch, but I'm pretty sure it was before 9.6. There's this big flashing fire icon that goes on in the middle of your screen the moment you catch on fire, so it's kind of hard to ignore now. So I definitely run manual on everything but tier 10s just because, well, go big or go home. Right now, it is down to Crazy JC. He's only got 11 shots left, enough to eliminate the enemy team considering they only have 1890 hit points remaining between the three of them. So he can kill them in one clip. It's just a matter of how that hit point pool is dispersed and whether or not that actually equates out to one clip. So the E3 being a 2-shot if he high rolls, probably more likely a 3-shot, whatever is the Leopard PTA going to do. Oh, yep, he's easily a 2-shot, and the T-54E1 a 1-shot. So unfortunately, he needs 6 shots here to kill everyone. And due to actually Crazy JC conserving a lot of his hit points, he is able to completely blitz that enemy team and take them out. Decides to reload because he knows he is almost certainly not going to kill that E3. He would need 2 very good high rolls, which, let's be frank, RNG is never that kind, or rather, more accurately said, rarely that kind, but he is performing the Circle of Doom on this E3, who is trying to back up into this building, but JC says, not today, my friend, I'm gonna stop you from doing just that. Get right on the back of your tank. Instead of zooming in, he is instead extreme zooming out. There we go, finally zooming in. Maybe that was a replay glitch, or maybe that's just decided what he wanted to do. Engages auto aim for a moment, decides to zoom in, zoom out. I don't know why he's being so finicky with his camera. Again, it might just be the replay, or that might just be how he plays, but takes an unnecessary 779 damage. Really, he didn't have to get hit that hard. He didn't have to, well, he didn't, because that was a bit of a high roll. Average damage is 750. I think it was 750 at the time of 9.6. Again, the troublesome part of being so far doing commentaries on replays that are from such an older client version and it being so much not that client version anymore, I have trouble recalling, but he got a little bit too greedy, decided to stop circling on the E3, or maybe his track was broken. If it was, I missed it. Hold on, we can rewind here. We can look. Yes, let's enjoy the noise spam and go back a little bit further because I might have missed that. It seems very unlikely JC would just willingly take that damage, so I'm expecting maybe he got bumped into and his track was broken.
Target disengaged.
No, it looks like his track was fully capable and he just kind of missed his window of opportunity here. Yeah, he let that E3 get the better of him, side scrape him off on a building, and he took damage. He got a little bit cocky or maybe just a little bit careless. I'm not sure which, but he did end up taking that damage unnecessarily. Either way, it wasn't due to the E3 just breaking his track and getting him in an odd position. That is for sure. But enough being said about this match. Let's go to those. Let's go to the post-game stats. And here we go. Without further delay, Mastery Badge Ace Tinker for a very good performance. A lot of tier 10s, fighting tier 10s. If you do well in that match, probably gonna get Ace Tinker because, well, you're fighting things just as big as you. For the record, if you're killing things that are smaller than you, you get less experience and credits. It's just how World of Tanks tries to balance and discourage noob bashing, in a sense, going for the easy target. They want to try and like reward you for going against larger targets, but it's a good idea in theory, not so effective in practice, because everyone's always going to go for the easy kill. It's just the way the game works. High caliber and top gun, obvious, and as well as defender, just there at the end. I think he might have also got some reset points in the middle of the match when the enemy team was on the cap in the first place, and then they're like, no, we want to kill everyone because we're winning by such a large margin. Not large enough. But yeah, over 7,500 hit points of damage dealt, 6 kills, so barely getting that top gun. Who performed just as well on the enemy team, or close to as well on the enemy team? Well, that E4, like I said, it's a very solid tank destroyer, even after its gun depression was nerfed, even after its armor was nerfed, even after its mobility was nerfed. It is still a very solid vehicle. When it first came out, and boy, do I remember that day, it was amazing. I'm sorry, I am just completely fanboying over the E4, but it is one of my favorite tier 10s. And it kind of made me sad when it got nerfed into, I can't even say it got nerfed into oblivion. It got justifiably nerfed. And even after that, still a very solid tank destroyer. So yeah, I can't really be too upset about it. I just miss my OP beast of a tank. That's all there really is to it. But the FE 215 Bravo doing quite well for itself, another solid vehicle. I call it the T110E5 Mark II just because it is kind of that. It's a rear-turreted T110E5 and very much the same aspect. Got a vulnerable cupola, although the E5's is less so nowadays. And its armor is about just as reliable, and you know, it's plays very similarly. It's a very hybrid heavy tank. Waffentrager doing pretty well for himself. The Mouse, surprisingly not being terrible. And the Yogzilla on the enemy team, which got pretty wrecked by JC there. Definitely did not do much at all. Very disappointed in his performance. Owning a Yogzilla, a Yog Panzer E100. I know it's a pretty solid tank destroyer. A little rough when it comes to mobility. You can't really maneuver all that effectively, so you just gotta go in corridors and use your armor, hit points, and a massive gun effectively. And the E4 also kind of disappointing. Yog Panzer on his team, however, not having any sort of troubles. The E4 also doing quite well. The 121, even though foolishly exposing his side way too much, that is not how you angle your armor, my friends. Definitely did quite okay. And then the artillery that got wrecked at the beginning of the match, and the 50B, kind of disappointed seeing him doing 0 damage, but he got 4 shots off, 2 actually hit, and they did not pen. So sad. And the Yogzilla, 2 shots off, did not pen. That could just be unfortunate luck. RNG is quite frequently unkind to players every now and again. I remember a time I fired 5 shots in my IS-4 at lower plates, sub 100 meters, like about 50 meters away at an enemy E75 and like an IS-7 and like reasonably heavily armored things, but I was shooting at the lower plate. I had good angles and I bounced all 5 shots. And then I was just like so infuriated. And it's not like they were snapshots either. I aimed. So I'm sorry, I'm ranting about something that is not even relevant or barely relevant, if I'm giving myself any sort of leeway. But he did actually get some damage to his assistance, nearly 2,000. And we already see how much damage he did. 27 shots fired, 26 of those actually hit, and 21 penetrated. So, contrary to what some people may believe, tier 10 mediums, even the BatChat, are not auto-pen. Quite a bit of distance traveled for Ensk. It's a small map. Kind of surprising, but he did earn a significant amount of credits and a significant amount of experience, and that was his times 2. So, definitely, and again, the enemy team simply lost due to their arrogance, due to their, oh, we're winning by such a large margin, we're gonna go out and kill all the enemy team, because we don't want to cap. And, I mean, even towards the end there, JC got a little complacent, a little arrogant when going against that E3. He thought he had it in the bag, and he kind of did. I mean, he still killed him, but he took unnecessary damage, so errors and arrogance were made. Errors as a result of arrogance, I guess, is more accurately stated, but less succinct. So still very well played by JC, a very good match. A lot can be learned from it, and honestly, that's kind of what the whole point of commentaries are. It's fun for me, fun for you, and kind of an educational experience. I definitely learn better from watching experienced players in any game and anything in general, honestly. and hopefully some of you get that away from this as well. But that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, supporting my channel that way. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe if you aren't already. And if you've got something you want to share or suggest related to my channel, comment section below for that. And if you also have a replay that you think I should do a commentary on, description has instructions on that and so much more in there as well. But until next time, this has been Spang, and clearly I am just oh so professional.
MLG Dynamo!